Hello, it's me, Mrs. Stiliano, and today I'm going to be taking you through making your own Skel-O-Cat. Okay, so the first thing that we'll be doing is we are going to check our supplies. So right now you should have a black strip of paper and you should have an orange background paper. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use an oil pastel and we're going to be drawing our cat on here. It's just going to be the outline of the cat, kind of like a silhouette. So that's a big word that I'll be talking to you guys about. All right. What I'm going to do is just kind of measure this paper and make sure that what I draw isn't bigger than this paper. So what I'm doing so that I can help that is I'm just actually going to fold it. So this way I can be sure that the cat that I draw is going to fit in here. So I'm going to be drawing my silhouette of a cat to fit right within the shape. Okay, I want it to be pretty big, so I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. Oh, as always, just watch me first. So I want the top of the cat to really reach the top of the paper. So I've got his little ears, and I'm going to look at his head shape. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to make his tail just yet. I'm going to make a round body that comes down to the end of the page. So I know that this is probably hard, probably hard to see. Let me just get recentered here. This is my little makeshift studio. So I want you to notice that it is the shape of a cat. I've left the tail out, okay? The cat takes up the entire space of the page. So we're not drawing small. If you draw small by accident, don't worry about it, okay? Try drawing light so that this way, if you do have a little mistake, you can always just kind of rub it out. But this is the shape that we're looking for, okay? So now what we're going to do, I've probably paused the video, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just cut off the top part, that part that I had folded over. I'm going to need it. I don't want to put it too far, so I just cut off the top, okay? And now I'm going to cut directly on my line. I'm going to cut out my cat. Guys, you know this, but I never go for perfection in here, okay? So don't worry if something is not exactly perfect. Don't worry about it. So if you have extra marks on here because you were trying to get the size and you drew, and there happens to be a lot of extra white stuff on here, here's what you do. You flip it over. So this will be the side that I put the glue on. So instead of using bottle glue, I might have given you a glue stick. I'm using bottle glue just for the purpose of this video because it's easier for me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do should be the perfect size. I'm going to place it all the way at the very bottom of my page, and it should come right to the top. I'm going to center it right straight in the middle. So you see my cat actually reaches the top of my page. So the measurements are very important. You guys are at the perfect age where you can understand this and really get this really nicely. All right, so this is probably the most important part of the project, is getting the cat the right shape, the right size, and placing it in the middle of your page, but so it touches the very bottom of your page. This is what's going to create a really cool effect that we're going to be getting. All right, so with your extra piece of black paper, what I'm going to do is draw a tail. I'm going to do it on my table first, and I'm going to show you because when I try to draw in here, it's going to make this all fall over. So it's going to be my tail shape. Okay, it's kind of diagonal. You have plenty of paper left to make this happen. So you're going to go ahead and draw it. And then we're going to place it on the page. And again, if you had to practice drawing it a few times and you have a lot of extra white marks, just let this be the side that you glue on. So this little pointed edge, I'm going to get rid of it. All right. And I'm going to think about where I want to place it. All right. So I'll show you my best practices. I'm going to put some glue on my tail now. And you know my rules with glue, just a dot, not a lot. What I'd like to do is tuck it behind. It's going to look its very best if it's tucked behind. So we're working pretty quickly right now. So it shouldn't be dry just yet. But if it is, I can help you out. So like this is perfect. So you see what I did? I tucked it underneath. I didn't place it on top. Tucking it underneath is going to give it a really, really nice effect. So that's his tail. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to do all my cutting and pasting right now. It just makes sense to do every part right now that involves cutting. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create kind of a triangle space inside that I'm going to be making with my white paper here. So I'm going to show you, it's going to be small. It should fit inside the head. So you see, I made it small enough. So like, let's say you make it too big the first round, just draw it next door and try again. But like this is perfect because I know when I cut it out, it's going to be fitting really nicely inside of my cat's head. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Actually, this is a little bit small, so I'm going to redo mine. All right. So actually, I'm glad you saw that. I'm glad you saw that I had a little mistake. So I'm going to try again and make it a little bit bigger. It's good that you saw that because now you know even your teachers sometimes have to try again to get things right. So it's important not to get down on yourself. If at first you don't succeed, try again, and it's all good. So this triangle shape, you don't want it to be a sharp triangle. You want it to be a rounded triangle. That is so much better. I'm so glad that I took the time to do a second shape. So again, it's no big deal. If at first you don't succeed, try again. All right, I'm gonna place this. I wanna make sure I left some white around it. Okay. So now everyone has gotten a couple pieces of colorful paper. So our project is based on Day of the Dead. So we know from our video that we watched that a lot of times bright colors are part of the theme. So I've given you a few pieces of paper. You probably each have about 3. What you're going to do is stack them on top of each other. I'm showing you all my shortcuts. And what you're going to do is draw just kind of like the outline of a flower on your top piece. Okay, so I have all 3 here that I'm holding together. And what I could do to make this easier is actually just cut it smaller so that I'm not cutting this big, huge block of paper as I'm doing it. So that's a little bit easier, isn't it? And when I cut this out, I'm going to have 3, like magic. And I invite you to put as many flowers as you want. So I have my first 3. Okay, I'm gonna do more. I think around 6 flowers might be a good amount. You might have fewer and you might have more, and whatever. It's fine. Whatever you choose with this part, it's your personal voice. So I'm gonna do 3 more flowers the same way I'm cutting it all together. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and glue these down. So again, with glue, just a dot, not a lot. I just put like a little baby swirl in the center and I place it. Okay. So we're doing all the cutting first, the cutting and the gluing. I tend to think this is the hardest part of the project. So I'm big on let's get the hardest stuff out of the way and then we could focus on the real fun stuff. And you might really enjoy this part anyway. It's cool. Again, if you have like oil pastel on that side, let that be the side that you put the glue on so you don't see it. Okay? It's a way to hide a flaw, right? Okay, so pretty much we're going to be smooth sailing from here. The only other thing I'm going to cut are my eyes and my nose. So for the eyes, you're going to want a circle shape. So with your scrap, I just have a little bit of black scrap left. I'm going to fold it in half and I'm going to draw a circle, small circle, because it's going to be for his eyes. I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Okay, and again, if that side has, you know, the oil pastel on it, let that be the side that you put the glue on. Do it again. So we can always use our scrap. So I have his 2 eyes. And now for his nose, I'm going to do a small triangle, like a soft triangle, just like we did for his head. I'm going to do it out of black. Okay. Not a lot. Okay. We have the makings of our kitty cat. He's coming together. All right, we're ready for the fun stuff. So you all have a bowl of white paints, and here's what we're going to do. Going to start out by, this part we'll try to do similarly to each other. I'm going to start out with 2 baby horizontal lines at the top, okay? I'm going to do a vertical line going all the way down. It's going to be a spine. So that goes all the way to the bottom of the page. So the white paint shows up really nice on the black cardboard. So here we are. That's our first step. This is all going to be the makings of his skeleton. There's going to be a lot more to this. Let's have some fun. I'm going to put about 7 dashes now in his spine. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got it redipped. 6, 7. So I got my 7 dashes. And now, watch this. I'm going to put another horizontal line on this side, but he's going to follow the curve of my kitty cat's body. So I've got 1 on this side, and I've got 1 on this side. And again, it's just kind of following the curve. So this is not a straight line. All right, and I'm going to put 1 little dash at the top. I'll put 1 little dash at the top of that one. Leave space in between. Okay. And I'm going to put a little dash at the bottom and a little dash at the bottom. Again, leave space in between so you still see the black, okay? And now what I'm going to do is do pairs of bones. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just like that. And guess what? I'm sure you guessed it already. I'm going to do the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have his bones. So now we have to put the bones inside of his tail. The bones inside of his tail are going to be made up of little eyes. Eye. So we have 2 eyes. Let's see how many I could fit. You might fit more than me. They're capital letter eyes. Keeping the paint inside the tail. I'm going to start one here, but I'm not going to be able to finish. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make little dots. I'm going to use all my white paint right now. I'm going to just make some little dots at the top here. And kind of go along his face. Just like so. We're done with our white paint. There's not really that much more to do. This is kind of crazy. All right, I'm going to use my water and just wash off my brush, and I'm going to use my paper towel, and I'm going to just kind of dry it down. So now I'm going to be using some other colors. What I'm going to do first is decorate my flowers. So I'm going to use some black first. Don't mix your colors. So I know I'm going to put a little bit of black outline in each flower, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that first in each of my flowers. Okay, I'm going to wash my brush off, dry it down, because I don't want to contaminate my colors. There's a good chance I gave you guys community colors to work with, because I do that. So then maybe I'm going to go and paint a little green on the outside. It's okay if you go outside the lines of your flowers. You can even kind of just outline it. Have fun. Maybe I want the outline on some of my flowers to be a different color, so I think I actually do want to do that. So I'm going to do some of them in blue. I gave you guys all yellow, black, green, and blue, so you can kind of play around with how you do this step. It doesn't have to be just like mine. I want you guys to feel like you can play, because you certainly can. All right? I think that actually looks really good with having some blue and having some be green. Okay, and maybe you want to go and put a little bit more color inside of your flower. So I think I'll put some yellow. Yellow is not showing up amazing, but that's okay. All right, whoop, got a little drippy drip. I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so the very last step of this project is we're going to be creating little dots in the background. So what you're going to do is one color at a time. You're not going to switch from color to color. You're going to choose your first color. You're going to put in the dots for that color. Then you'll choose your second color. You'll put in those dots. Then your third, and then your fourth. Okay, so we're not like switching between colors. So I'm going to start with blue. And what I'm doing is I'm just pressing. And as the more you do this, you'll find that your hand knows what to do. It just will make that perfect dot shape without you really having to try very hard. Your hand starts to get trained. So that's kind of a fun thing, and that will definitely happen to you. Leave space in between because we have other colors we weren't gonna fit in here. Okay. Gonna do my next color, which is why I am washing my brush off. I think for my next color, I'll do that yellow. Yellow is just not showing up amazing today, but that's okay. I'm just gonna put a little bit of it around. You can see it a little bit. It's very faded. I actually think it looks pretty the way it is. I don't think colors always have to be loud. Sometimes they can be subtle. So I actually appreciate how it's coming about on my page. It's looking good to me. Okay, my next color I'm gonna do is green. So I'm just filling in the spaces in between. Trying to have them about equal spaced. A little dab here, a little dab there. Okay. And I believe we're just about done. This was a lot of fun for me. I hope it was for you as well. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.